I never thought humiliation would sound like laughter echoing off marble walls, but that's exactly how it began. One moment, I was standing in a navy blue dress holding a glass of champagne, thinking my life was finally settling into place. The next moment, the glass slipped from my hand, shattered on the floor, and I watched my fiancé wrap his arms around another woman like I wasn't even there. Not a stranger, my sister-in-law, and yeah, everyone saw it. My name is Maya Reynolds, and that night was supposed to be my engagement party. Friends, family, co-workers, people I trusted all gathered in this massive house that belonged to my fiancé's parents. I remember the smell of expensive candles, the soft jazz playing in the background, the way people were smiling right up until the moment they weren't. When Evan finally turned to me, he didn't look guilty. He looked annoyed, like I'd interrupted something. "I can't do this anymore," he said loud enough for the room to freeze. "I'm in love with Claire." No apology worth remembering. No explanation. Just that. My sister-in-law stepped forward, head tilted, lips tight in a smile that felt sharp. She said I was intense, too emotional, too outspoken. Said Evan needed someone calmer, more polished, less me. I looked around the room waiting for anyone to defend me. No one did. So I walked out. I didn't run. I didn't cry yet. I walked heels, clicking spine straight. Heartbreaking with every step. Behind me the music started again. People laughed again, like I'd already been erased. Outside the air was cold and honest. I realized I didn't have my coat, my purse, or anywhere to go. I'd given up my apartment to move in with Evan after the wedding. Smart move, right? I sat down on the front steps and stared at my phone. I scrolled past family, past friends, past people who had just watched my life blow up and stayed silent. Then I stopped on a name I barely recognized as a real option. Lucas Hale. 6 months earlier, I'd bumped into him at a diner near my office, spilled coffee all over his jacket. I'd been mortified. He'd laughed, told me not to worry, asked me how my day was going like he actually meant it. We talked for maybe 15 minutes. Before he left, he handed me a card and said, "If you ever need anything seriously, call me." I found out later he was the CEO of a massive logistics company. I never called, until that night. He answered on the second ring. I tried to speak and failed. Everything spilled out instead. The cheating, the party, the humiliation, the fact that I had nowhere to go. He didn't interrupt. When I finished, there was a pause. Then he said, calm and steady. "Where are you?" I told him. He said, "Stay there. I'm coming to get you." He was almost 3 hours away. I didn't believe him. Not really. But 3 hours later, headlights swept across the driveway, and there he was stepping out of a dark sedan like this was the most normal thing in the world. Jeans jacket, no ego. He opened the car door and said, "Let's get you somewhere safe." Evan came running out yelling about leases and money, and Lucas shut him down with one sentence. "She'll be contacting you through a lawyer. Do not contact her again. No drama. Just finality." That night changed everything. Lucas didn't rescue me. He gave me space to breathe. A guest room. Clean towels. Silence when I needed it. Coffee when I didn't ask. And one thing I wasn't expecting. Respect. He didn't treat me like a victim or a charity case. He treated me like a capable adult who'd been knocked down, not broken. A few days later, he offered me a temporary job. A real one. Project lead at his company while someone was out on medical leave. I almost said no out of pride. Then I remembered how small Evan had made me feel every time I spoke up, every time I had an opinion. So I said yes. Walking into that office for the first time felt like stepping into a different version of myself. People listened. They took notes. They pushed back in healthy ways, not dismissive ones. I worked late because I wanted to, not because I was trying to prove my worth. For the first time in years, I felt competent without feeling apologetic. Then came the invitation. Evan and Claire were getting married, 6 weeks after destroying me, and they wanted me there. I stared at that envelope for a long time. Part of me wanted to burn it. Another part of me realized something important. I wasn't hiding anymore. I was done shrinking. Lucas offered to go with me. Not to show off, not to intimidate, just to stand next to me. And when we walked into that wedding, heads turned. People whispered. Not out of pity this time, out of surprise. Evan's mother tried to mask her shock. Claire's smile faltered for half a second. It was enough. During the reception, Evan pulled me aside, told me he'd made a mistake, told me I looked incredible, told me he still thought about me. Standing there listening to him confess regret at his own wedding, I felt nothing. No anger, no longing, just clarity. Before I could respond, Lucas stepped in. Calm, direct. This conversation is over. Evan looked at him like he'd just realized what he lost, and I walked away without looking back. After that night, things unraveled fast for them. For me, things finally made sense. I blocked numbers, I set boundaries, I chose peace. Lucas and I didn't rush anything. We talked, we waited. We let feelings grow naturally instead of feeding on chaos. What started as gratitude turned into trust. Trust turned into something deeper. A year later, I married Lucas in a small outdoor ceremony wearing red instead of white. No marble floors, no fake smiles, just people who actually loved us. Evan tried to interrupt. Again. Old habits. I told him calmly that losing him was the best thing that ever happened to me. And I meant it. Here's the part people argue about. Some say I only succeeded because of Lucas, because of his money, his position, his power, and sure, he opened a door, but I was the one who walked through it. I did the work. I rebuilt myself. I stopped believing I was too much and started realizing I was in the wrong room all along. So let me ask you something. When someone is dismissed, underestimated, pushed aside, and they rise anyway, is that luck? Or is that strength finally being seen? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Was Evan a villain or just a mirror of society's bias? Was I wrong to walk away without forgiveness? And if you've ever been told you were too loud, too emotional, too different, tell me. I want to hear your story.